A message about the tariff impact. Hi everyone, I'm writing to share with you how we are working to handle the rapidly escalating tariff situation. I want to be transparent and honest with you about the impacts of these tariffs. This is a complex situation, so I apologize upfront for the length of my note, but I feel it is important to be as clear as possible in this difficult time. Tariffs, what just happened? For 25 years, we have operated as a family-owned business under a zero tariff rate. Several months ago, a 10% tariff was enacted for goods made in China. It was then doubled to 20%. In April, a 34% tariff was added to the total, bringing us to 54%. Last night, another 50% was added, and today, April 9th, an additional 21% was added, bringing us to 125 total tariffs on Chinese goods. Vietnam was to be subject to a 46% tariff, but it appears that this has been reduced to 10% for the next 90 days. These two countries manufacture 90% of the goods that we sell. What is the impact? This unfortunately is going to result in retail price increases on product impacted by the tariffs, including new and open pre-orders. We are working hard to minimize these increases through discussions with our vendors, deploying the most efficient importing processes, and ultimately sharing directly in the financial pain. I'm heartbroken to have to do this, and I hate this tariff situation. It is ridiculous, poorly thought out, poorly implemented, cruel, and punishing to everyone involved in affected countries and at every level of our industry. Who pays tariffs? Tariffs are a tax on the U.S. consumer. Foreign governments do not pay these tariffs. The U.S.-based companies who import these goods are directly responsible for paying the tariffs. And ultimately, the US-based consumer pays for them through higher product prices. We are devastated that it has come to this. We will continue to work hard to minimize the impact for you. When and how will price change? In the past month, we have raised price in a manner that was inclusive or expected tariffs, while also honoring previously pre-ordered prices. Unfortunately, the dramatic increase in tariff levels has now made this approach impossible. To minimize confusion during this rapidly changing situation, we will be changing newly affected pre-orders product listings to reflect our normal non-tariff based price. We'll also add a notice indicating that a tariff surcharge will be added at the time of the product's arrival. We will inform you of the full amount before your payment method is charged. You will also be able to cancel your pre-order at that time if the surcharge amount is something you do not wish to pay. Our customer service team, as always, will be ready to help with any issues that arise from this situation. And we will be very flexible given the circumstances. Today, we expect the surcharge may be between 15% to 40% of the pre-order price. However, that could change as the situation continues to unfold. Please note that any items currently in stock are not subject to the tariff. We are working as fast as we can to make these changes clear on our site, but it will take us time. We have over 10,000 items listed for pre-order currently, and it is going to take us time to work through how each vendor will respond to their specific tariff situation. Our supply chain is complex, and we have hundreds of vendors. The timing of when a particular tariff is applied will depend on a variety of factors, including import shipping dates and any new rules set by the government. Finally, I absolutely hate increasing prices to you, but the tariff situation is beyond our control. If tariffs are reduced or removed, we will reduce or remove the tariff surcharge on orders accordingly. My pledge to you is that we will be fair and we will share the pain of this. I assure you, we are already feeling significant economic and business disruption pain from these tariffs. We will continue to work hard to serve you with the quality and customer service level you expect as we navigate through this difficult time. I want to thank you deeply for all the trust and loyalty that you have placed in BBTS with your collecting passion. Whether you have recently joined our family or have been with us for years, we truly value our relationship with you and will do our best to continue to earn your trust every day. This message was sent as an email by Joel Boblit Boblit, founder and president of BigBadToyStore. This is LV from Comic Book Bin, filming since 2002. Like and subscribe. The tariff situation with the action figure world in North America and other places has been rendered very difficult due to the tariff enacted by the Trump administration on imports from countries outside of the United States. As a Canadian, my country was affected ahead of everybody else, along with Mexico, and we've been preparing for this pain nationally. Canadians already, we've been waiting and expecting this for several months now. Now the rest of the world is finally getting to share some of that pain by the Trump administration. It is not my place to comment on that administration. It is up to you to do that. But in terms of action figure collecting, this is a major event that could completely change how we consume action figures and similar products. Most of them, as Joel Boblit of BBTS mentioned, are produced in Asia. There are no manufacturing plants producing action figures in North America today. As a G.I. Joe collector, I know that even as a kid, when I used to buy a real American hero action figures, that they were already branded as having been made in Hong Kong or China. That was over 40 years ago. That was in the 1980s. Action figures back then, many of them were produced overseas already. Imagine the supply chain today where 90% of them are made overseas in Asia. Basic Economics by good old Adam Smith teaches us that countries specialize in certain goods and exchange with one another. It does not make sense for Portugal to create fabrics and for the United Kingdom to try to grow oranges. It is best to trade with one country who can grow crops better and another one that can create fabrics more efficiently and for less. This is how trade across the world has been based. Some don't like that, but it is capitalism. It's how it works. For the most part, it has worked well. There has been several disruptions, and tariffs always flare up in these discussions. Countries have been working for decades to reduce as much as possible all tariffs. And it is true that the United States, as a dominant economy in the world, has allowed other nations access to its rich markets while suffering some tariffs when it tries to sell to others. But the United States has never competed against equal partners. The United States economy is way above all other economies. The United States in the world market in foreign affairs plays a role of the cup and the one nation upon whom the economic system is based on. Because of the security that the United States offered, including patrolling the seas against pirates, a task that used to be performed by the United Kingdom in past centuries, while the United States has promoted a fair and constructive trade system among nations of the world. It is a position of leadership. This position of leadership has benefited the United States tremendously. It's not a one-way street. Tariffs are not about win or lose. Producing action figures in North America will not happen for decades, even if efforts were made today to create such capabilities. Collecting is a very tough sport. Price hikes, hunting for figures, space concern for collections, all of these influence what collectors buy or skip. Larger vendors will probably weather the storm better than smaller producers. Some people might tell you that you should probably favor the smaller merchants, even the smaller stores, and ignore the larger one who can weather the storm better. But it is an ecosystem in the end. And without the tariff, there's a place for everybody. Every collector, every vendor, every store has a place. This situation as a Canadian is beyond whatever I can do. It is not beyond what you, my American viewers, can do. You need to speak with your local representatives, with your senators, about how you feel about this situation. This is just the action figure world, but this affects everything else in your lives. The price increase on most products will take months before it manifests itself. So for now, you are benefiting from some kind of reprieve. The goods are not here yet. Tariffs have not been imposed yet because the goods are not here. It is not an easy situation. There's a lot of politics involved. Some people support the action of the Republican president. Some people openly criticize it. It's not my affair, my concern to tell you how to think about that. But it is something that even amongst themselves, Republicans are not completely aligned with their president. So it is not a black or white issue. There's a lot of gray, and a lot of people will be suffering with that. Now, what can we do as action figure collectors? Well, we're going to have to be a bit smarter. In my case, in Canada, hopefully we'll be less affected since, for example, larger distributors distributor based in Canada order directly from China. Hence, we don't get tariffs imposed when they're shipped directly to Canadian ports. That, to my American friends, gives you an opening. It might be cheaper to order from a Canadian store some of the products that you want coming from China. But at the same time, people like Nerdzoic and BBTS still need your support, even Entertainment Earth and all the other ones. So just switching over to Canadian retailers might work for some products, but you can't just abandon the American retailers. Also, there are families involved, there are livelihoods involved. Another thing that you'll probably do is reduce the amount of action figures that you purchase. Already, we can see that this level of tariffs will affect products in retailer stores, big box retailers like Walmart and Target. They may not have the same product selection, and families and parents will probably skip on the toys for now and try to buy something else. It's not an easy situation. It's unclear for me right now if ordering overseas from stores based in Asia will help individual customers, collectors at all. Will there be tariffs also imposed on those orders? As a Canadian, I know that whatever we buy overseas, whether it's in Japan or the United States, there are taxes as soon as the product arrives. But I'm not sure how it works in the United States if there is such a control over goods that they will tax you as soon as they figure out the provenance of the product. Now, action figure collecting has been a cool sport for many of us. During the pandemic, there was a revival of this practice. In my case, I came back just before COVID because of the classified line, and I just went crazy and ballistic after having stopped collecting action figures for over a decade before that. It is a fun sport, but it's unclear right now if it will ever survive. Specialty collectibles like Frazetta Girls action figures will be deeply impacted by those tariffs. If their price, which is already very steep, increases, doubles, it will cost you maybe $200 to get an action figure. It could cost you very soon $50 to get a regular G.I. Joe classified or Marvel Legend action figure. That is insane. It's a lot of money, so you'll probably have to pick and choose. Meanwhile, there's a lot of goods that are already on site in the United States. You could trade, you could buy these things. If you have a lot of extra figures, if you army build, now's the time to network, connect with other collectors, and exchange stuff that you have with other stuff that you don't have with other collectors. We can help one another in these times by exchanging existing goods. The race to always have the latest and the newest action figure doesn't have to be anymore. A bit like comics, we can go back on back issues or older action figures that are still very good and exchange those with one another. Those are tariff free. We can also spend more time customizing existing action figures from that stock that's there to create characters that we don't have right now. For example, I should start customizing my own figures so I can finally create that Archer and Armstrong set and that Solar Men of the Atom action figure that I've been wanting to have for years. There's a lot of cool stuff that we can create ourselves with the existing stock that's already available that is tariff free. It's time for creativity. It's time to use our imagination, which we have a lot of, to create cool stuff again until the waters calm down and those tariffs hopefully are repelled. But it won't be business as usual even if that happens. The trust of many collectors and people across the world has been broken. People will not trust the current administration or future ones as easily. Production networks who are sitting right now on stock that is not being produced because the American manufacturer promoter cannot afford to import these goods from Asia over North America, this will create a lot of distrust in the market and it may increase the price of future action figure productions. It was a golden age indeed, with great articulation, great paint applications, an enormous amount of character selection, a lot of smaller vendors trying to produce their own action figures, creating something, innovating where there was nothing before. This golden age is probably gone right now, killed by outside forces that are not innate to the action figure collecting world. But it's not over yet. And like I mentioned, we can still customize and learn from one another how to make the best with existing stocks, how to better plan our collections from now on. We can sell off things that we don't use that take up space to improve and increase where we can put our action figures and really focus on things that we really care about, as opposed to buy most of everything just because it's available and it looks nifty. We'll have to be a bit more specific about what we want and what we like. And this is where it might hurt many brands and smaller companies. It also forces them to innovate and create even better product and give us even more value for our buck. It's going to be very difficult for several retailers, vendors, creators, and I hope we can all weather the storm. I'm sorry, I don't have any more solution that I can offer. This is way beyond me right now. I care a lot about action figures, as you can see, but there's not much I can do about that. This is Hervé from Comic Book Bin, Philly Win since 2002. Like and subscribe.